Ladies and gentlemen, girls and boys, welcome to Her Journey, Her Strength. This is Irene. Today, we have an absolutely legendary guest with us, someone whose story is nothing short of inspiring. Are you ready for a brain-shocking experience? Let's dig in. She's a top real estate agent who's still going strong at age 70, a fearless fighter who overcame stage 4 lymphoma, an incredible mother who raised 3 amazing kids, and guess what? This year makes her 40th anniversary in the real estate industry. Let's give a warm welcome to the one and only Janice Lee. Janice, thank you so much for being here. I can't wait to dive deep into your incredible journey, through all the highs and lows and the lessons along the way. Could you give a quick intro for anyone who don't know you yet?
Sure. Well, my name is Janice Lee, or my full name is Janice Lee McMahon. I have been in real estate for 40 years. I started in October 1984 and just celebrated the 40th anniversary. I've been very, very fortunate. I have made the half of 1% in the 45,000 agents in the Berkshire Hathaway Home Services family globally every year. And we just learned that this past year, my team had made the top 17 in the whole global family. So I'm very grateful.
Wow, that's incredible.
Thank you.
When I picture a successful businesswoman, you're exactly what I picture. Absolutely glowing. And honestly, if you didn't say anything, no one could ever guess you're 70. And not so long ago, you just fought a tough battle with your health and won. Can you share that incredible journey with us?
Sure. I have been through a lot. In 2008, I actually had a cerebral stroke and had to learn how to walk again because you lose your total balance. And 5 years ago, in 2019, I was diagnosed with 4th-stage lymphoma. So between July and December of 2019, City of Hope was my second home. And I was very, very blessed to receive a newer treatment called CAR T and recover. I was in full remission, and this is my 5th year, and my doctor actually just pronounced again, this is like a big step for me to learn that, okay, 5 years has passed, and not only am I in remission, I'm cancer-free.
That must be really tough. How did you get through it?
Well, it was tough. I think the most important thing is that I'm a glass half full person, and that's just my mindset. So in the hospital, I was not concentrating on my illness. I am not in denial. I knew that I had a very serious illness, but I knew that I will get better. If it's not my time to go, I will get better. And I was fortunate enough that after so many different type of therapies, I qualified for the CAR T treatment. CAR T treatment was relatively new at the time. It was only 2.5 years old. So a lot of older doctors did not feel 100% comfortable with it because you just don't have enough record of how CAR T treatment will go. But I just had a feeling that this was definitely the right therapy for me. And I also made a very, very important decision of not to have a bone marrow transplant after the CAR T treatment, because most of the older doctors, the more traditional way is that after you get a CAR T treatment, you're in full remission, then you could get the bone marrow transplant. But I decided against that because bone marrow transplant has a lot of, it's a very dangerous and it's not a very easy process. So that was how I did it. And I think the most important thing is just staying positive. The CAR T treatment's success rate at that time was 40%. 40% is a very high percentage. And I said, this is great. But my son reminded me and say, Mom, do you know what 40% actually means? That means if 10 people are standing there, 6 of them will be down. And I looked at him and I said, well, I will be the one standing. So that was that's how I look at things, and that's my attitude. And I really do think that the mindset is very important. Of course, you have to be a good patient. You have to listen to what your doctor asks you to do.
Wow, we're so lucky to have you with us. You're just full of energy and life. I wonder, during your treatment, did you ever feel scared or hopeless?
Not really. My mother is a Buddhist. My mother translated 15 Buddhism texts. So I grew up believing in the Buddhism philosophy. I also read Dalai Lama's book about facing death. And death is not scary to me. I feel that if it's my time to go, it's just a process. As long as you live your life with no regret, there's nothing to be afraid of. And so I wasn't scared. And, I didn't feel hopeless because during the time that when I was in the hospital, I was not thinking or concentrating on my illness or how sick I am or how scary 4-stage lymphoma is. I was busy. I was really busy because, I didn't tell anybody that I was in the hospital. So I still get calls. And when I get calls, and I obviously couldn't meet my clients, I will send my trainee or my colleagues there. And my clients were not happy about it. They felt like maybe they were not important enough for me to take on the case. So I thought, this is not good. I really need to form formally a team. Before that, I have been mentoring a lot of younger agents. But I feel like this is not good because my client did not feel like I care enough about them. And I wasn't going to announce to the world at that time that I am getting treatment. So I decided that I need to form a team formally. So in a way, I was so busy thinking, planning about this, I had no time to worry about my sickness. And I think that also helps because if you don't just think about your illness all day long, it helps. It really helps. And I was just concentrating on all my energies to do the things that the doctor wants me to do.
This is so empowering. You went through such a serious illness, but you still kept up with your work. And even though about things from your client point of view, it's just so incredible.
Well, of course, I also feel very blessed and very lucky. First of all, I qualified for the CAR T treatment. That itself is phenomenal. And also decided against the bone marrow transplant. That was another big decision that I have to make. This all happened in March. In March, I did my regular annual checkup, and I was fine. All the blood tests was normal. And in July, everything went bad. So things can change so quickly. And looking back, I realized that my type A personality, nobody forced me to do anything, but I want to do everything perfectly.
Yeah.
And that's just, I was born with that. And then the fact that why did I go to the hospital? Why did I get sick? Of course, there are some real science background, but I do think that the stress that we all face today is an invisible killer. And so I thought about it, and I thought that, you know what, Janice, you're going to have to learn how to deal with your type A personality and also how to deal with stress, how to not get so stressful and not to the point that stress is getting into your health. And so that was something that I really learned, and that's going to be my life lesson, forever, to learn that. And I hope that everybody remember that, stress is an invisible killer. You have to deal with stress.
You give such a youngful vibe. When I saw you today, I couldn't help but notice your cool hair color. Is there a story behind it?
Oh, yes. After the CAR T treatment and all that, I lost all my hair when you get treatments as a cancer patient. So I wear my beanies for a while. I had a beanie collection, and then I started wearing wigs, and I have all sorts of wigs. But then especially during the summertime, I started to wear hats because it's so hot.
Yeah.
And then I thought that, okay, my hair is growing again, and I shouldn't be ashamed of showing my gray hair. I've earned it, and my wrinkles too. So I decided that I am going to show my gray hair. But I thought gray hair is kind of not interesting enough, kind of boring. And I do not want to dye my hair, so I decided to highlight it.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked purple. And so I thought that, okay, I'm going to highlight it with some purple. My husband is Irish American, so he was kidding. And he said, what about green? I say, oh, okay. So I incorporated purple and green.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I got my hair.
Oh, wow. I bet your kids must be really proud of you to have such a stylish mom. Now, let's talk about your role as a woman and a mom. What type of mom are you?
Oh, no doubt. I was a tiger mom, a single mom. In 1990, I decided to raise my 3 kids by myself, age 10, 8, and 5. I was not having a harmonious marriage, and I did not think that was a good way to raise my children, and that's why I decided to be a single mother. The very following year, my mother drove down from San Francisco and said that I'm going to help you raise the kids. My mother was always a career mother, and she's not very good with domestic stuff. So she volunteered to be my children's chauffeur. And with 3 kids, taking them, picking them up, that's a full-time job. And there's no way that I could do that and work on my career. So I was really grateful. She also said that I'll make sure when they come back from school, they have a afternoon snack. I will make sure that they do their homework and practice their piano, but she never promised about dinner. So I became good friend with a Chinese restaurant on Huntington Drive. I miss that restaurant so much, Shanghai Palace. I became a good friend with the manager, and then quickly I had a meal plan with her. So she delivers hot food, delicious food, and nutritious food. I told her that no MSG and no salt from a Chinese restaurant. That's not easy. Yeah. And so that food was delivered to my house Monday through Friday. So it doesn't matter if I'm late to the appointment, the kids, they will never go hungry. They will have food on the table. So that was how I raised them. And being a tiger mom is, I always believe that when you want to discipline your kids, every discipline act requires 4 loving acts. So if you love them enough, you could definitely discipline them. So that was my philosophy, and that's how I raised them.
I totally agree with you. As a tiger mom, what do you think is the most important skill to teach your kids?
Well, the children work very hard, and for 10 years, I worked my butt off too, and put 3 of them through Cal, NYU, and UCLA.
Wow.
And I do feel like, a good college would teach them critical thinking skill. And my job as a parent is to give them as many tools in the toolbox as possible. We all know about IQ. Everybody, a lot of parents like to say, oh, my kid is very smart. Yeah, smart is very important, but you didn't do anything. You're born with that. Then EQ is the emotional content. That's very smart because you have to know how to communicate with people, how to deal with people. I think that's part of why I'm good at what I do, because I think my toolbox has such a skill that I know my stuff really well. You have to know what you do really well, but you have to be able to communicate with people about it. And I have the ability of connecting with people, and that's what people call the EQ. But I think more important than IQ and EQ is AQ, is how do you deal with adversity? how do you get up when you fall? And we all hear about midlife crisis, but guess what? Now is quarter life crisis. Okay, and I actually think it's a good thing when you face challenge and adversities as early as possible in your life, and you could only learn by falling. And so, what's important for my children is to teach them whatever comes and don't knock you down, they'll make you stronger.
Since you're such a successful businesswoman, how did you teach your kids about finance? Is there any tips or tricks you recommend?
Well, there's no tip. I mean, some tips, no tricks. I do believe that it's very important to know how to spend money, just as important as how to make money. So at this moment of my life, I'm teaching my kids philanthropy and how to give away money. So I have my own properties before my marriage. So from that account, I give my children $1,000 every month. $1,000 is not a lot, but they have to decide where to donate that money, how to give that money away by giving me a proposal and tell me why they wanted to choose this organization, etc. And if they feel like $1,000 is not going to really make a big difference, they could save that $1,000. By the end of the year, they have $4,000. 2 years, they have $8,000. Okay, so that is something that I do with them now. But when they were little, we played a game. You remember that the meal plan was 5 days. So on weekends, I'm going to just use a number.
Yeah.
I would say that we have $200 this week, this weekend, and we're going to have 4 meals out of this $200. Saturday lunch, dinner, Sunday lunch, dinner. And we can decide together if we wanted to just eat very simple or maybe just do things at home and dress up and go to a fancy restaurant and spend all that $200 in one meal. Or we could be modest and do a good meal on Saturday, good meal on Sunday, but nothing fancy. Or we could just hang loose and just go to a cafe for 4 meals. So it was sort of like a game with them. But at that time, I was trying to teach them, you have you have 4 meals and you have a limited amount of money to spend. How do you want to spend it? So that is something that not a trick, but I guess that was a game that we play, and I think it worked out pretty well. Oh, another sample is that my second daughter loves clothes, and so she loves to spend money. And I said, well, if you want to spend money on your clothes, in addition to what I provided you, you're going to have to earn it. So my second daughter has a lot of summer jobs. And so she understands that I have to earn enough money to support the lifestyle that I want to have. And my son, on the other hand, I'm so proud of what he did in UCLA. There was a program that he was able to teach financial literacy, basically, to a lot of Latino family. They're all in the high school level. I feel like that is something that's really lacking and very important in our educational system because, when kids go to college, guess what? They're going to be bombarded with credit card offers. They have no idea. They have no idea what 18% interest mean. They have no idea when they say that you just have to pay the minimum, what it really means. And they definitely have no idea what compounded interest mean. Credit card debt is a big issue in our country. And I think it started in college. And not because of these kids' fault, it's because we did not teach them enough about financial literacy. So that's something that I really believe in, that we need to let the kids know about how to spend money very, very early on.
I totally agree with you. The first step to make money is learning how to spend it. As an Asian mom, Do you have any advice for young immigrant moms?
Yeah, I think I have 2 points to share. First, we should raise our children based on the environment they're in. So we're in America. You're raising an American. You're not raising a Chinese. You're raising a Chinese, but American. So I noticed that in some families, kids are told to be quiet. But I do believe that if you encourage the kids to participate in dinner discussions, in just ask, "How was your day?" and have a discussion, then the kids will feel much, much more comfortable in a leadership role later. You know, Chinese American have what we call the bamboo ceiling when they go to work. Bamboo ceiling means that you cannot become a top leader. There are issues about, profiling, prejudice, and all that. But we should also think about you may be the best mathematician in the world, but you don't know how to lead a team. So going up on the leader's ladder doesn't just require you be the best in your field, but it actually requires you to be able to lead other people and to inspire other people to want to work their hardest for you. The other thing is that I don't want to just say Chinese mom, but a lot of Asian parents are really, really into Ivy League schools. You know, America has so many wonderful schools, not just Harvard, Yale, and Stanford. Okay, and I do believe that it's very, very important for you to match the right school for your children. Each kids will blossom in a different way. And if you look at the Fortune 500 magazine, all the CEOs, basically, if you look at their history, 50% of them did come from Ivy League school, but 50% of them come from state college, colleges that you never heard of. So I do think it's very important that matching the school, and also do not let your kids feel like they are a failure because they didn't go to Stanford. That is just so not true.
Yeah.
And being in a Stanford, Harvard school does not guarantee success in life either. My husband's law firm had a lot of people from Stanford, but they were not able to get clients. So they worked for my husband. And that's just a very good example of what is your definition of success. And you have to set, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and your life goal. So if your life goal is just to go to Harvard, and you went to Harvard, you graduated, and you forgot to set more goal for yourself, then you will not go anywhere because you have no goal.
You must have witnessed many touching moments through your work. In your work, having the right people to work is super important. How do you decide who is on your team?
Yeah, recognizing, hiring, and retaining the right people is truly an art, and is something that I have learned over the years. But my principle is that I will do my due diligence. I will learn about the professional who I am going to entrust. But after I do my due diligence and hire them, I trust them 100%. So I have very, very high standards. And there are people who are not going to be able to work for me because I have very high standards. And there are people who love to work with me. And all the people who are working with me love to work with me. They've been with me 10, 20, 30 years, 40 years, because they feel like they could become better. And when I see that's their attitude, I know that they will be with me forever. And so those are the type of professionals that have been working with me, and I really trust them, and I'm supportive of them. And I think they could feel that. And I also make sure that when they finish working, my client paid them immediately. These people work so hard, and they're laborers, and they deserve to be paid immediately. So that is one of my philosophy. And then you find, not everybody is going to be on your team. Not everybody is going to be a good fit. But that is how I find my bigger team that's work with me.
Thank you for sharing. Let's hear some questions from our young friend.
Miss Janice, how much do you think luck plays a role in success?
I believe that the harder you work, the luckier you get. So if you're not prepared, you're not going to get lucky. And that's how I feel about luck.
Mrs. Janice, what are you most grateful for insisting that your kids learn?
Well, I think they probably don't know it, but I think that the fact that they all played a musical instrument, because I am a pianist, music is going to be the friend of the rest of your life. And they all speak a third language. They all speak Mandarin, English, plus something else.
Quick fire round. Please finish these sentences. I feel like all my worries just disappear when
I see my grandchildren's picture or hear them talk and hear them laugh.
A book every woman should read is...
You know, I'm so sorry, Irene. I don't think that a woman should read differently from the men. I personally love Deepak Chopra. I read a lot of his book, and I love the 7 spiritual root of success. I think that's the title of it. And from a woman writer, Phoebe Ing's Warrior Woman is kind of fun to read.
My feeling about this visit is...
I'm honored. Thank you.
Miss Janice, thank you so much for coming to our show. You've reminded us to never give up and keep fighting. Thank you for sharing your legendary life with us. To our viewers, keep challenging, keep nurturing. Next month, we'll have a special episode. Until then, stay bold. This is Irene. Class dismissed.